Namaste, welcome to this restorative class. My name's Travis and it's a pleasure to guide you today. It's a beautiful spring morning here in Melbourne, so it's a little chilly. I've got a jumper on. Just remember with the yin, you want to feel comfortable. So if the room's a little cool, pop a jumper on. This is a practice, it's very floor-based, so we shouldn't be moving too much to generate that much heat. We'll begin with, first of all, just discussing the props. You can see things sprinkled around me here. Props like yoga blocks, I know they might be scarce at home, but you could do this with Tupperware or those Systema kind of lunchboxy kind of containers. They'd be perfect. 2 of them of equal size will work beautifully. A stack of books, kind of want them to be equal height, so just see what you've got available. Big cushions, known as bolsters, firm though. We want firmness in those cushions. And I'm on timber flooring here, so I've got this blanket down, which is for comfort underneath me to start, but we will actually be using a blanket to begin. So a big beach towel, big blanket, or if you're on carpet, you won't need this. So the carpet's lovely if you're practicing at home. Get your biggest blanket, thickest blanket, whatever it is, and make the biggest rectangle that is available in it. Lay it out in front of you and pretend we're in kindergarten here and make a hot dog. So roll it nice and narrow and tight. So you can see the length here in the shot. It is more than 1 meter long. So my entire body, spine and head will be able to rest on this. So that gives you an idea of how big you want that blanket in the first place. And the thickness is about 15 centimeters. So I'm going to lie it down on my mat. I'm going to situate my buttocks down at the end and lie my entire spine down on the rolled up hot dog. So my head and the back of the head should be supported. Step the feet to the width of the mat and then drop the knees towards one another. Take the hands to the front of the chest and encourage width across the collarbones, across the chest, across the tops of your shoulders. Just sort of trace the energy lines across the front of your chest. And then with that, allow the arms to extend out left and right, palms to sky. Practice today is about encouragement to find our sukha, which in Sanskrit is translated to English as this sweet space, a sweet place. Its exact opposite is spelt with a D, and it's dukkha. As I film this, we are currently in our 6th long lockdown now here in Melbourne. And there's moments of fear and anxiety, anger and frustration, and a tendency of being caught up in the chitter-chatter of the mind. And thanks to our modern world we live in with instant access to information, whether it be correct or incorrect. It's a form of a klesha in the sense that as it find ourselves constantly searching for the information that reinforces our opinion, our attitude, our thought, it creates a wheel of suffering as the only information you possess is the information that reinforces that klesha, that affliction. So I talked to you about a dark place, about the dukkha, about the location in the mind and the body where we we know there's darkness. The practice, the philosophy of yoga reminds us that we attach ourselves to the impermanent as permanent. And the reminder is that nothing is permanent. And I'm sure this lockdown's gone on a little too long, and the events of the pandemic have been a little intense. As a society, we've struggled. We've been through trauma. And this class is about acknowledging that, recognizing it. Another part of the practice is about letting go. To find our sweet space from the darkness. A couple more moments here. There's a sense of openness across the chest and almost a little bit of vulnerability. It's a beautiful space to feel vulnerable at these slow and still classes. You're welcome to let that vulnerability in as an opportunity to acknowledge it and let go what doesn't serve you. Just a couple more moments here. Roll to a fetal position in your preferred side, gently off that little rolled up hot dog underneath us, and find the primary curve in your spine. So hug the knees in, use the underside arm as a pillow, and anchor the top hand in front of your body as support. And pressing your way up and coming around. So we'll take this blanket out of the way now. So if you did need to use it underneath you, now's the time to put it underneath you. But for the moment, I'm going to bring it back into that small rectangle shape. And have it off to one side. On my right side. Going around onto our knees and hands, moving through the hips and the shoulders and the neck, all fours position. And that'll encourage you now to find the space to look forward. And we're going to come down onto 2 blocks. So 2 containers, Tupperware containers will work. The width between the block is your head, so at least a couple of fists width. I'm going to slowly start to extend the legs out and lower down onto your chest so that your shoulders are roughly touching the blocks. Shift to one side and place the tricep of the left arm on the left block, and then move the block if you need to and find the right tricep on the right block. Create a prayer overhead with the hands, and then shuffle the toes further back behind you, like a little walking motion. And walk them to the width that feels nice for your low back. So I actually will go wider than this, wider than my mat. Triceps are on the top of the block, and they're at the medium height. I didn't mention that, so you find the height that's available to you. Palms touch overhead, and then drape the head between the blocks. Elbows can bend even more so that the thumbs come to the nape of your neck. So there's no gold stars here for holding a posture that doesn't feel comfortable.
isn't encouraging, doesn't allow you to hold the stillness. So feel free to come out, change the height of the blocks, work with something else. Maybe you just need the forearms down on the mat, that's enough. Maybe it's the process of lying down on your tummy that is confronting. One of the reasons that may be is we do so much sitting now. All we seem to do is sit. We get in the car and we sit. We eat dinner and we sit. We work at a desk and we sit. We move to the sofa and watch TV and we sit. So this shape lying on your tummy may be in itself an awakening without having to lift the arms higher onto props. Every aspect of our lives is busy these days. And it's just a lovely opportunity to slow the body, slow the mind. In that process, be a witness of what might come up. The truthfulness is illuminated in the practice as you're allowed the scope and space to focus. In this particular practice today, I don't mind if the thoughts come up, if the memories. As we're having a little clear out, we're allowing those memories to rise and to no longer serve you, to let them go. It's very indulgent to say that nothing is permanent, especially if you're in the middle of something very traumatic. And so please know where you're at, know how you're practicing, know how you feel. And thank yourself for getting on the mat, importantly. That's so special. We'll stay for 10 more breaths. Bring some awareness into the body so you can lift your head and chest and just maneuver your way out. Place the blocks up and away. Hands under your shoulders. Lift the hips and press back onto your shins. Your big pillow, your big bolster, whatever you've got, slide it towards you. Widen the knees, big toes touch, hips back to heels. Slide the pillow, the bolster in very close towards you. Option here would be to roll up the blanket that we popped onto the right side here as an even more elevated pillow, perhaps for your forehead.
so that you've got space to allow the breath to come and go. I like to take the hands to the top of the bolster, let the forearms rest. It's just you and your breath here. Gentle, easy, nourishing breath. It's the inhales that encourage the nourishment, and the exhales that facilitate the release. Quiet, calm, smooth breath. You have 10 more cycles just like that. Last couple of moments. And begin to lift your chest. So you've got your big cushion and your pillow in front of you and that extra blanket. I didn't mention earlier, but I always place a hand towel on top of my bolsters, and it's only small. We're going to do a shoulder stretch, and it might be nice to have that. So I'm going to use the bolster, and I'm going to sit on the blanket as well, and I'm going to sit directed away from you, so apologies for that. I just want you to see what's happening in my shoulders. So the seat will be called Sukhasana, which is our first chance to find our sukha, our sweet place. So as I sit my buttocks on the props, I will bring my left leg in first and then the right leg in front. So it's cross leg. My knees are below my hips. You might not need this elevation. You can sit on a block if you want. First thing, we'll take our right hand out with thumb pointing up, bend the elbow and place the hand at the upper back of the body, and take your left hand and encourage the right hand further down your back. So the tea towel, the hand towel is just gently placed in my lap. Because this might be enough of a stretch for you. Shoulders and all of the tissues around it can be a little tight. So if this is enough, then stay here. However, just gently release. In the right hand, place the towel, bend the elbow, take the hand up and overhead, and place the hand so that the knuckles are on your upper back. Take the left hand out, thumb points down, sweep it up the back body, and hold the towel between the hands. And this is a lovely space to internally and externally rotate the shoulders and awaken them for our practice. I'm offering this with the strap because it's a little gentler and it's all we need today. But if the bind is available to you and it's super comfy, you can find the fingertips to touch and hold them. Not the longest hold here. So let the towel remain in the left hand. Slide the hand down the towel and have it out to the left. Take your hands out, do a little bit of movement, flex and point, roll, whatever feels nice. Keep the towel in your left hand and you take the hand up, bend the elbow. And we'll begin with the gentle opportunity just to stretch there. And I should have said to change your legs as well. So while you're at it, change your left shin in front of your right. And if that's enough, you stay there. You've still got the towel in the left hand, draping down your back, right hand out, thumb points down, and sweep up and see if you can catch the towel. And just take that gentle internal, external rotation of the shoulders, elongation of the spine, and an opportunity to sit in our sukha, our Sukhasana, our sweet place. Couple more moments. And then gently begin to unravel and place your hand towel off to the side. Roll the shoulders, move through the wrists and the forearms and the elbows. And I'm just going to maneuver myself. So close down your eyes and take a couple of breaths. Just let yourself reacclimate in that upright position. Shifting off your props now, moving the blanket to the right again, so on the right side of our bodies. Bolster out of the way for the moment, in front of us, somewhere that we can reach for it when we need to. Tabletop, cow-cat kind of shapes. Neck rolls, hip circles, call it sexy cat. So the next pose is a combination. It is a prone shoulder stretch with a frog leg. So actually I'm going to begin on my left, so apologize for that. It's just easier for you to see. I'm going to bring my blanket on the left. This is the people with timber flooring, so you've got something soft for the knee and the inner ankle to rest on. So it's on my left side because we're starting on that left. So I'm going to get you to lower down onto your tummies. So I'll quickly explain what's going to happen. It's going to be the left hand that goes under our body to the right, and we rest our chest down on the arm. You might be able to tuck your toe and shift some weight forward onto the shoulder and allow a little deeper work into the shoulder. So that's the first part. But the second part is going to be bringing the left knee out to the left, inner ankle and inner knee on the pillow or the carpet on your left. Do you need to do that first? I don't know. It's up to you and your body. If you want to take the knee out to the left, you can first. And then it's a little bit of awkwardness, but you've got to get the chest up, the right hand in front of you, arm lifted, so that the left hand can go through underneath you to the right. So now you rest the body down onto the left shoulder and the upper arm. There's still the right toes can tuck and shift some weight forward, and then rest that there. Right arm should be free to bend at the elbow and allow your forehead to rest down on it. And there's a lot going on there. The arm and the shoulder will probably be the place of the deepest sensation for you. So be skillful in the presence of any discomfort. The left leg out wide to the side should feel supported. You can point through the toes, curl the toes towards your shin. The leg will actually stay for the longest duration.
we will remove the arm sooner than the leg. Let yourself rest in that awareness. There's 10 more breaths here with the arm through to the right. You might get a little tingly. There's probably a little bit of lack of blood flow. I don't mind if you want to tap the finger pad to the thumb of each one of your digits. And just keep the movement going for a little moment more. And last couple of breaths. So start to press into your right forearm, the one under your forehead, so you can lift up. And allow the left hand to come out. So we're going to lie down on the forearms now that are crossed in front of our face. Or if you think there's a bit more space in the knee out wide and you want to draw a little higher, do something with that left hand and then allow yourself to rest down. So we have another 10 breaths. And from this prone position, I'm going to continue our stretch, but this time it's going to be to the right side. So lift your chest and look to the right so that you can extend the right arm out, just like a right angle from your body, with the palm facing down, the thumb pointing to the top of your room and the fingers pointing out to the right. So palm down. And then look away from that thumb and look to the left. So your right ear comes to the mat and you're looking to the left. Rolling onto your right hip using left hand as support and sweeping the left leg from the pillow on the left side of your body to behind you now. Letting the right temple, the right ear rest down. The right leg is long and the left foot is behind you. The left hand is gently in front of your chest. It may like to go up, bend at the elbow, and be placed gently on the low back, and the buttocks, whatever feels supportive. Last few breaths. And using your left hand to gently roll back onto your tummy. Placing both hands underneath your forehead and letting the forehead rest down. widening the legs and perhaps bending the knees and doing a little windscreen wiper from side to side. So stay where you are with the forehead resting down. Just to explain what's going on, I'm maneuvering around the mat so that you can see my right side of my body. So when you lift up, I'll be in the opposite direction. So this time it's the opposite side, so the right side. So my blanket's on the right hip, so if you need to move the blanket to your other side, do that. Now you know what we're doing. So left hand forward, right arm under to the left, or do you want to do the right knee first? So bring it out onto the pillow blanket to the right. Come back with a square chest looking forward, and take the right arm under to the left. The left toes are still behind you. If you want to tuck them and shift some weight forward, and then let the left forearm rest down in front of your face. And your forehead rests down. And in the stillness, take a moment to notice any thoughts, any memories that have come up, and if they don't serve you, especially for your practice, just let them go. It's like clouds in the sky. And starting to lift the chest and letting that right hand out. Keep the knee where it is, but remember, if there's a little bit of maneuvering there with that right hand that's now free, feel free to do that, and then cross the forearms and let the forehead rest down. And let the breath feel super sweet. Just anchor in the stillness of the practice and let it be a mechanism for change. And slowly start to lift your chest and look to the left hand out like a right angle from the body, palm down. Look away, so look to the right, left ear on the mat, rolling onto the left hip and letting the right foot step up and over behind. Left temple, left ear, left cheek, whatever needs to just be soft and rest down on the mat. Right hand could lift up, bend at the elbow, place in the lumbar spine. Last few moments, 5 more breaths. Slowly, right hand back in front of your chest. Roll back onto your tummies. Place the forearms, palms down in front of your face. Bend the knees. Draw the heels to buttocks and windscreen wiper from side to side. Press back and find your way onto your shins. I'm just going to have to maneuver around so I'm facing as we began practice. Vadrasana, so thighs are touching, shins are grounded, sitting on your heels. This may well be enough for you. This is all you may need. Sensations in the front of the tops of the ankles and the tops of the feet, the shins, could be enough. Or for some of you, hands behind you, maybe even onto your finger pads. And I like to think of this idea of the lift at the front of my chest, allowing the weight to shift back and lifting and elevating the shins up off the mat. That in itself is enough. However, if you're kind of in between those two and kind of like, is there something else I can do here? Maybe your block just gets placed there. Just give a little bit of extra support. And just know that there's always space to change and to come out of whatever you're in. So if this isn't for you, just stay on your shins. A few more moments. If you do have a prop underneath your knees and your shins, just gently take it out. Coming forward onto your shins and then onto knees and hands. Stepping knees back a little and paddling tops of feet. Tuck the toes and press weight back. So not quite a toast pose, but pressing the weight back, really driving into the fascia of the soles of the feet. Nice stretch, maybe even into the Achilles. Nice and awakening there. All right, so it's time now for Supta Vidrasana. It's a complete mental blank, sorry. Supta Virasana, from what I was thinking there. And we'll be doing Ardha, so one leg at a time. Okay, so here's the bolster. We're going to create like a little fort. So we're going to lift the bolster and place the prop on its medium height at the top and maybe on the lowest, most stable height, about midway. And then returning the bolster. So you can see that lean that I've created there. When I go like this, the problem is, as I go back, it could do that, okay? But just be mindful of that. If you think you need that and you've got the awareness to have that set up with the highest height, you can go there. The blanket can come in handy for a couple of reasons. Lumbar spine that's going to be down here, so your low back, it might like a little bit of extra support. Or the head that's going to be up here might like a pillow. So options there. I think I'm going to take a pillow here, so I'm going to place it like that at the top, right up the top there. You then got to scooch around so your back faces all this. And just to explain, Virasana is similar to what we just did, Vadrasana, but it's separation of the knees to the width that feels comfortable, not super wide, but also not running parallel. Ardha means one at a time. So how I'll set this up is I'm going to take my feet wide and then I'm going to have my hands behind me because I need you to lift up and sit on the edge of your bolster, about where your tailbone kind of starts to finish and you've still got a little bit of flesh there underneath you. And you're going to start to recline back and walk the feet back. So I've already set that up with the width. There's a bit of space between my thighs. And we'll begin with the right leg so you can see it illustrated. Left leg stays exactly where it is. Draw the right heel in towards you. Hold the foot with your hand and help maneuver the heel
towards the right buttock. Front of hip here, all of this area across the front of your body and the thigh. It's a lovely moment to awaken. Ankle, shin, and knee all get some work without it feeling painful in the knee. There's a couple of things that happen for me in my body. As the lumbar spine can get a little tweaky, so I like to take my fingers to the frontal hip bones, lift the hips a little by grounding into the right shin and lowering the lumbar down, and just gets super supportive. The foot out to the right here, do you need to maneuver the ankle for your body? It's entirely up to you. The foot might go out a little wider or the heel closer to the buttock. Left leg, knees bent, points to sky. Would you like to walk the foot further out, lengthening the leg? That's an option. Once you've found your sweet spot, drop into the body and the breath. Final 10 breaths. Maybe you're just bringing the hands back to the front of the chest like we did at the start of class, and invite the width and then the drape of the shoulders. Maybe hands go out wider than they were previously set up. Bringing awareness back into the fingers and then allowing the left leg to come back. So maybe hands down on the earth to help bring that left foot back. Maneuver the right foot out. Take a moment, maybe even just draw the frontal hip bones towards you, scooping the tailbone up. Draw the left foot in towards you. Let the shin arrive on the mat. Set that shape up first. And then maybe the foot stays on the mat for the right leg, or it walks out. And it could be completely different on each side. Whatever works for you, it's okay. Personally found a beautiful sweet spot here in that quad and front of the hip of the left leg. I hope you have too. Last 10 breaths. using the hands to support you, right foot back in. Lean to the right, maybe to allow the left leg to sweep out. Just take a moment here, maybe knock the knees together and just give yourself a chance to reacclimate. And then using the support of the hands and sitting down on the buttocks to slide off. Removing your blanket, placing your bolster nearby your big pillow. We won't need the blocks. You may or may not want the blanket depending if you're on carpet. We're going to end in a side Shavasana today, and I will be leaving you there. So as you roll down on your preferred hip, take the bolster or the pillow between your thighs. Let the underside arm diagonally lean out underneath you and let the ear rest down. You can either let the other arm rest on your bolster. Once you've got yourself in a beautiful, sweet space, take some nourishing inhales and maybe open the mouth and exhale the breath. And so I know today's class was a little deep, talking about the dukkha, the dark space, but I hope that through today's practice that we've illuminated the light, the sweetness of your beautiful body. Taking a moment to acknowledge our thoughts that sometimes can be a little dark is okay. Letting the sweetness arrive. From here, thank you so much for your practice. Encourage you to stay as long as you can now. But from me, namaste.